Hi Peaches, it's Shaaba, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. I know the background looks a little bit different, please bear with, we're working on it. It's Monday, you know what that means, we are gonna go fishing for some a-holes. We explored the subreddit Am I the A-hole here because it's a little bit of fun, a little bit of juicy drama, also hopefully helps a couple people out and expands our own mindsets. I mean, what's not to love? Am I feeling spicy today? I think I'm like a solid yellowy orange. But before we dive right in, let's just give a big thank you to today's video sponsor, Pride Counselling. Pride Month, and I do this because Pride is all year round, baby! Pride Month is technically over, but you know, Pride season is still in full swing. If you are an LGBT cutie like me, then that means that Pride is all year round for you, babe, because that's what you deserve. You deserve to be your authentic self at all times. It's as simple as that. But sometimes getting to that place of acceptance and realization is not so simple. And if you feel like you could use some support to get there, Pride Counselling could be a great resource for you. They provide online therapy specifically for the LGBT+ community. I've used them consistently and it's helped me out a lot, which is why I'm such a big advocate. And all of the therapists on the service are LGBT+ friendly, which was a reason why I feel like I could do it, because it's so nice to know that you're going into a safe space when you're discussing things that are just so vulnerable. You just fill out a form to answer a few questions about your needs and you're matched with a therapist that's right for you. And if you don't like them for whatever reason, because babe, finding a therapist can be difficult, that chemistry is important, then you can switch like that. It's super easy and free to change. You can also, on Pride Counselling, talk to your therapist however and whenever you feel comfortable. Via text, chat, video call, phone call, it's totally up to you. And if you love the idea of it, but you're like, I can't quite afford it, then that is totally fine. Just know that Pride Counselling also have financial aid that you can apply for, because good mental health support should always be accessible. If you'd like to find out more or potentially sign up, you can do so using the link downstairs in the description box, www.pridecounselling.com/Shaaba, or you can use this gorgeous little QR code, and either way you'll get 10% off your first month. Alright, let's dive deep into some arseholes. Let's go. Am I the arsehole for not wanting my husband to eat lobster in our house? Okay, I'm a 27-year-old woman and I have a seafood allergy. Anything that comes from the sea will cause me to break out in hives, feel nauseated, and have difficulty breathing. It's never gotten to the point of being anaphylactic, but I don't want to risk it. Understandably. My husband, 27-year-old man, loves seafood, specifically lobster. He'll eat it when he's visiting his parents who live 4 hours away, but never around me. I was gonna say good husband points, just good human points, you know? Don't kill a fellow human, you know, don't put a fellow human's life at risk. Makes sense. His parents are coming to visit next week and they're bringing lobster. My mother-in-law doesn't understand my allergy and thinks that I just get a small rash. Okay, one, how hard is an allergy to understand? I feel like that's quite an easy thing to kind of mop up. Hello, small rash does not equate to potential death. So, you know, can we just not bring lobster? But more to the point, as mother-in-law, again, just as a fellow human, if I know that bringing something that is totally optional and a choice, there are so many meals in the world that you can eat. It doesn't have to be lobster. But my point is, even knowing that it's going to give you a small rash, why would I subject you to that? Imagine if it wasn't a rash. Imagine if it was just a food dislike as opposed to an intolerance. Like, I really dislike parsnips. I'm sorry, you can hate me for it, but I'm not a parsnip lover. Just telling you that I don't like parsnips, not even that they give me a rash, right? Just the fact that I don't like them alone should be enough for someone to be like, okay, I'm not going to bring parsnips to consume in your house. Is that just me that finds that really weird? Like, oh, you got a small rash, it's fine. I just found out today. I told my husband absolutely not. He can go out to our friend's house to eat it, but not here. And he told me that he'll eat it in the living room and I can stay in the bedroom. You know what? I rescind my husband brownie / good person brownie points from before. That is not good being a fellow human. I said no because the smell's gonna linger and I'll be nauseated for hours. He promised to clean up after and scrub and I said no, I don't want to risk it. Dude, just don't eat the lobster. I feel like this is quite simple. We argued a bit more and this is where we are. He's usually really good about my allergy and always checks the restaurants before going to see if they sell seafood and will warn the waiters about my allergy. Okay, so like he knows the effort that you make to check ahead at a restaurant before you go. That was a big deal. This is completely out of character for him, so I'm wondering if I'm being the asshole here. Something you're missing here, my love. Hang on. First, let's clear this up. No, you are not the asshole. But there is a difference here. Your partner is rational and lovely and wonderful and accommodating to your needs when it is the two of you. The extra added variable in this situation is that the mum is coming. And I still don't understand to this day why this is, but parents for some reason bring out the worst in partners. I say I don't know what it is. We all know what it is. It's the unresolved trauma. It's the difficulties with family politics and eggshells. And it really saddens me when I say these things because I hope that when I have kids, my kids don't feel this way about me. It just feels like an inevitable thing that as part of growing up, we find it really difficult to communicate with the people that raised us in any kind of confrontational way. It must be because of the power dynamic that a parent has. If you have any other thoughts, I'd love to hear them down below. I'm sure most of you will agree with me, and I know that all of Hollywood agrees with me because there's so many movies made about this. Parents coming to visit just makes people act a little bit kooky. Your husband and your husband's mum in this case are being a little bit assholey, but communication is key. And I feel like if you could just sit down with your husband and be like, hey, babe, you're normally so wonderful and accommodating for my needs that, could save me from death. I know your mum's coming, but can we still avoid death in the same way? I feel like that's not an unreasonable request. I'm really hoping that your husband's going to be open and reflective to such a conversation. Best of luck, my love. Not the asshole, the fact that your husband's putting his love for lobster before you is disgusting. When you phrase it like that, Reddit, that sounds really bad. I don't think that's what's happening though. Real talk, he's putting the pressure to accommodate his parents' irrational needs above the cost benefit that he feels is bargainable in terms of your allergy. That's still not okay. It just provides more context and he loves lobster more than you. I actually wouldn't be surprised if the mum doesn't believe that you have an allergy. Is one of those people that's like, oh, it's fine, you'll break out, it's fine, just take some paracetamol, go have a drink of water, take a step outside. That kind of mindset can be difficult to sort of rationalize with, and it might be a conversation that your husband's trying to avoid. But that's a him problem, not a you problem, and you certainly don't deserve to put your life at risk for that. Not the asshole, I have a seafood allergy that didn't used to trigger anaphylaxis until it did. An accidental exposure from a panini, oh no. Processed in the same area shellfish almost killed me in an aeroplane, oh my lord, on a 10-hour flight. Food allergies can get worse over repeated exposure. I now can't leave the house without an EpiPen on me. Oh, I'm sorry, my love. That's so frustrating. How selfish are the shellfish? This is a terrible joke. And this point about repeat exposure is not something that I had ever thought of, and is absolutely a reason for your mama-in-law to choose something else to bring. There is more in the world than lobster to eat. It's as simple as that. Am I the asshole for giving my niece dog food? What is happening today? I'm a 20-year-old woman. My sister Jane, 28, her daughter Lucy, 9 months old, oh, it feels squish, and our mum, Sarah, 50, all came to visit me a few days ago. One of my housemates has a dog, and during warmer days will make frozen banana and peanut butter oat balls for the dog to have as a treat. That's so cute. They're entirely edible for humans. It's literally a banana, a scoop of peanut butter, and a cup of oats. Give it to me. That sounds so tasty. Is this the dog food that you're talking about? If so, stretch. Lucy was fussing, and Jane tells me that she's in the teething process. Lucy's a 9-month-old. Very reasonable person to be teething. She asked if we could freeze some of the baby food for when she'd need to eat it in an hour or so. I agreed and asked if she wanted to give Lucy a frozen peanut butter oat ball. Jane agreed and Lucy loved it. Yay! Look, this is not dog food. This is food that dogs can also eat. It's like saying this is dog air. No, it's just air that dogs can also breathe. What? About 2 hours into the visit, my housemate gets back with her dog and goes to the freezer to get one of the frozen treats. My sister gets antsy. Mum and I ask what's wrong, and she asks if I made the treats for Lucy. I said no, they're technically for the dog, but it's safe for human consumption. Jane freaks out, picks Lucy up and goes to the car. She's crying about how I gave her daughter dog food and how I should have disclosed that it was made for a dog, but I didn't think it mattered. It didn't have dog-only ingredients in it or anything. Okay, hang on. I'm putting myself in Jane's position here. I see a housemate come home, grab something and give it to a dog, and I'm like, is this dog food? And I'm like, hey, did you just feed my daughter dog food? And they went, yeah, technically for a dog. At this point, if it was a dog treat, I would be annoyed. If it was something bought from Wags, from Pets at Home, that is literally only supposed to be for dogs and has ingredients that humans can't eat, fair. But if they're homemade and dogs just happen to be able to eat them, that's fine. So I can understand in that moment wanting that clarification. And if you're gonna go running to the car and being like, oh my god, you fed my daughter dog food, once it has been clarified, I would expect the big drama to end. I tried to talk to Jane, but she won't respond and is genuinely insisting that I fed her daughter dog food. Our mum is split. She thinks that Jane's being ridiculous and says that she's only on her side publicly because she's a new mum. Am I the asshole? No, my love. You are not the asshole. This is very kind and very quick thinking of you to give the teething child who wanted a cute little frozen treat a cute little frozen treat. And I tell you what, your mum is an asshole. There's a little asshole badge that needs to go here, because I am so fed up of people siding with people publicly to avoid the confrontation when really what they're doing is not only causing harm to you, OP, for not being on your side. Because if the mum in this situation was just like, look, babe, you're being a bit ridiculous, this is totally fine. I'd have given it to Lucy too. Maybe that would have helped Jane calm down down to hear it from two people and be like, okay, more than one person thinks this, maybe I can think about this in a different way. No, you're not helping OP, you're causing a further rift, and you're also not helping Jane, because you're realizing that something is ridiculous, and then you're enabling that person's ridiculousness by not calling them out on it. How the frick are people supposed to grow and be better people if you're like, oh, publicly I'm going to tell them that they're okay, but in my mind I'm judging them? No! If you love someone and they deserve to be called out, the right thing to do is to call them out. Not calling them out is the opposite of love. It's as simple as that. I feel like I keep saying it's as simple as that, and really the reality in these situations is it's not very simple. But no, babe, OP, you are not the asshole. Lucy's happy. Let her eat her little balls that can be shared with a dog. I think that's so adorable. And you know what? Eat one yourself. Everybody should eat one. Tell your sister to stop getting her collar in a bunch. I literally make these for myself all the time, and I'm yet to lick my own groin or chase the mailman. Although if he's hot enough, I might consider it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It isn't dog food. It is human food that is sometimes given to a dog. That's like saying, oh, I won't eat the chicken on my plate because you've gone and fed a little piece of chicken to your pet on the side. No, like, it's so silly. Don't get me started on water, which is best known as dog drink, right? And their beds are made of fabric, so if your sheets are fabric, you're sleeping in a dog bed, what can I say? And this is why I think it's really important to extrapolate situations and put them to different things, because if you are able to do that in the moment and say, look, the principle of what you're saying means that we can't be sleeping in beds, we can't be breathing air, we can't be walking on the floor because it's a dog floor. Do you realise how silly this sounds? Sometimes that's all somebody needs to bring themselves back to reality. I think we have time for one more. Am I the asshole for telling my sister-in-law no, she can't stage her proposal at my wedding reception? Ooh. There seems to be two camps of people. People who are very happy to lump proposals in with other events. Then there are people who are like, no, how dare. My moment is my moment, and this other celebration is this other celebration. I personally fall more into that camp. This became very apparent to me when I saw so many of them happen at graduations. And I'm like, no, because whoever's graduating, they don't know that they're about to be proposed to, right? And they deserve to have their moment for graduating. They're like, no, you've worked so hard, so many years of this moment. Shine for your intellectual achievements, and then have another celebration where your partner can confess how much they love you and want to commit to you. Don't do it on the same day. That's my personal opinion. I'm not judging other people who do, but I'm acknowledging my bias before we go into this. I'm a 22-year-old woman. I have a fiancé, Jim, who's 31. Last week, my soon-to-be in-laws took us out to dinner. We were talking about wedding plans when suddenly sister-in-law and mother-in-law both said they have something important to discuss. They sort of giggled to each other like it was going to be some exciting gossip, and I figured it had to do with the bachelorette party, so I got excited too. They told me that the sister-in-law got proposed to over the weekend. I of course got all excited for her and asked to see the ring and all. Very beautiful. They then got a little hushed and told me that her fiancé's proposal plan was rather lackluster. They're making him do it over with the family present. No. They then said that my wedding reception was the best place since all of our family and friends would be there. Going back to what I said about the graduation thing, I'm going to just add to that. I think the one thing worse than taking away from someone else's celebration is to take away from other people's celebration for your moment. No, that's not okay. Especially if it's someone's wedding. That's like a one-in-a-lifetime thing. It's not like a birthday party that's repeated every year. People typically, to that person, get married once. Let them have their moment. There are so many red flags here. Having said that, there is another side to that. It's a celebration of love, and if the person's okay with it, it's okay to ask, but then you can't be offended if that person's like, no, I'd rather you not, because it's my moment. The fiancé has already proposed. Who says your proposal was lackluster, so you need to do it again in front of friends and family? That's not okay. I asked them to tell me what exactly they had in mind. I mean, I would want to be the centre of attention on my wedding day. The audacity. It's what all girls dream of, but I was willing to at least hear the idea out. Sister-in-law said she'd invite 3 of her friends, her future bridesmaids apparently, to be present. She would come out also wearing a wedding dress, potentially my dress to cut costs, with my flower girl holding a sign that says bride to be, and then of course her being proposed to and carried off by her fiancé out of the party. Of course. What? So no, this isn't the person proposing saying, hey, do you mind if I just like pop the question on the side because it's a beautiful venue? Which personally, honestly, I would be okay with. I'd obviously have to chat with Jamie about it, but I think if somebody asked me, can I do a little proposal at your wedding? I'd be fine with that. But this involves you on your wedding day having a huge spectacle, inviting 3 guests, people that you don't know, getting out of your wedding dress for someone else to wear? What? And having your flower girls do something else? No. Of course, I was flawed. And I said I wasn't too sure if that's a great idea. I talk it over with Jim. They told me they already talked to Jim, and he said he thought I would definitely agree. Oh, Jim. I texted him to not cause any more issues at the table, and he confirmed. I said I'd think about it just to get out of the awkwardness and pressure for the rest of the evening, but once I sent a text once again clarifying no, I wouldn't be okay with it, they showed up to my house to argue that since they are paying for half the wedding, More like 30% says OP. They deserve to have input on my wedding, which they have, but not for something like this, more like catering options. This started as a request that I thought could be reasonable. This is so unbelievably beyond unreasonable. My fiance's been trying to badger me into saying yes, saying it's selfish of me to not give 25 to 30 minutes to his family. Okay, Jim, will you get out of your wedding suit on your wedding day to give it to the guy proposing, probably based on this, doesn't want to do this, and invite 3 additional extra guests, total strangers to your wedding who you don't know, to make this huge spectacle for someone else? The biggest issue that I'm having right now is the fact that Jim already agreed to it and thinks that it's okay with you without even asking. With how my fiance's been acting, and of course no one in his family being on my side, I'm no contact with my family, so I have no idea if it's just the case of families picking sides or if I'm truly in the wrong here. Am I being self-centered like they say? There is an edit before we make our conclusion. Someone said that she deserves her own day, and I agree. I'm a party and event planner, and it's actually something I do professionally along with my day job. I offered to help plan an engagement and proposal party. They told me it'd be unnecessary expense and that maybe I should chip into the party 50-50 since they chipped into my wedding if I'm too selfish to share what they gave me. You are not the asshole. This family is a huge red flag. Oh my good lord. And honestly, I don't mean to sound super dramatic. I would genuinely be feeling very lost and feeling like I would need to reconsider if my husband, like there's a difference, right? If the family is toxic and a red flag, that's one thing. But if the husband is in agreement, that's not sharing the same values. That's not okay. This isn't just about a proposal. This isn't just about a wedding dress. It's about the principle of the matter. It's also super kind that you offered to plan the next one. I'm assuming you didn't ask for charge. So the audacity for them to bring up the fact that they're bringing in money and therefore they should be able to use your wedding as something else. That is next level unreasonableness. It's doolally thinking that doesn't exist in a rational world. And it's super manipulative to not only say that, but then to also be like, oh, and therefore you should be contributing for this different party. A party that you shouldn't even be having because a proposal is an affair between 2 people and one person has already done it and clearly felt like not involving more people was what they wanted to do. And you're not respecting that wishes. You just want to make this massive farce and yet you're too cheap to pay out to do that on your own time. You want to take it from someone else's day. Massive assholes. Not a family that I would want to be involved with. If you're already no contact with one family, I'm sure there are reasons for that, and I'm sure your little spidey senses will be tingling, because mine certainly would be. I actually can't get over this. I feel like this is one of the most ludicrous, unreasonable am I the arseholes that we have ever explored on this channel. Not the arsehole. Your future mother-in-law and sister-in-law have no class, and your fiancé has no spine. Are you sure you want to marry into this family? Dye that dress red, because it is a huge red flag. What do you think, my loves? I think it's pretty clear cut here, but please pop your little peachy butts downstairs in the comments and let me know your thoughts too. Remember, you can also take a look at the lovely Pride counselling downstairs in the description box as well. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I'll catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.